All right, welcome to the lesson on comparing functions. For this particular lesson, you will want to have access to a calculator to assist you. Let's do a few problems together, and then you'll have an opportunity to practice. So, the first problem, a linear function g passes through the points negative 5, 9, and 2, negative 12. Linear function h is shown in the table below. What is the value of the smallest y-intercept? So, in all of the questions that we're dealing with in this particular lesson, you're going to have to make some sort of comparison. You'll be given two functions given in various forms, points, the equation, a table, a graph, some combination of that. And you're going to have to make comparisons between the slopes of the two functions or the y-intercepts. So in this case, it's very straightforward. What is the value of the smallest y-intercept? So we need to find the y-intercept for each function. So I'm going to come over here to the side, and function g, it told me the points it went through. So I'm going to convert that to a table. So it goes through negative 5, 9, and 2, negative 12. So I'm going to first find the y-intercept of this function. Well, remember, in order to find that y-intercept, I'm going to need to know the slope first. So first I'm going to find the slope. And the slope formula says that we take the difference in the y values divided by the difference in the x values. So that's going to be negative 12 minus 9 over 2 minus negative 5. So negative 12 minus 9 is going to be, that becomes negative 12 plus negative 9. So that's negative 21 over, and 2 minus negative 5 is the same as 2 plus 5. So it'd be negative 21 over 7, which is negative 3. So that is your slope. Okay, now we're going to find the y-intercept. Okay, so we're going to plug one of our points along with our slope into the equation y equals mx plus b. So in place of y, sorry about that, we got to decide which point we want to use first. So I'm going to pick this top point. So in place of y, I'm going to write that y coordinate of 9. M, our slope, we've already found is negative 3, times our x coordinate, which is negative 5, and then plus b. Well, negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. So to solve this equation for b, we're going to subtract 15 on each side. 9 minus 15 is going to be negative 6. So we know that our y-intercept for function g is negative 6. Now let's find our y-intercept for function h. Now in function h, we have a table, and they have you with 3 sets of ordered pairs. We can follow the same procedure that we just followed for function g. So first we're going to find the slope. Now when we find the slope, we only need 2 points to find the slope. So I'm going to start off with these bottom 2 points. It doesn't matter which 2 I use. So I'm going to write down I've already written down my slope formula, and I did that right over here, so I don't need to do that again. So let's do this. Y sub 2, so that'd be negative 6 minus negative 15 over 1 minus negative 2. So that becomes 9 over 3, so our slope here is 3. Now we're going to find the y-intercept. So I'm going to use this bottom point. We only need one of the points in the slope. So I'm going to pick the bottom point and plug it into y equals mx plus b. So my y value is negative 6 equals, my slope is 3, times my x value is 1 plus b. Well, 3 times 1 is 3 plus b. Now I'm going to subtract 3 on each side. Now that says negative 6 minus 3, which makes negative 9. So here, the y-intercept was negative 9. So what is the value of the smallest y-intercept? So our y-intercepts that we found are negative 6 and negative 9. So we can mark out A and D. So which one is smaller? Negative 9 is going to be smaller than negative 6. So this was answer choice C. Let's go to the next problem. Okay, number 2. 2 pizza restaurants charge a flat cost for a plain cheese pizza plus a price per topping. Tony's Pizza uses the formula C equals 11.75 plus 0.55t to calculate cost for a pizza with t toppings. The table below shows the cost of pizza with different numbers of toppings at Pappy's Pizza. If Michael wants to order a 5-topping pizza, which statement is true? Now, before I start working, let's take a quick look at the statements so we can see exactly what we need to work on, what work we need to do. So A, Tony's Pizza will cost 30 cents less than Pappy's. B, Pappy's will cost 30 cents less than Tony's. Okay, so we need to know how much each is going to cost for each pizza company and how much less, right? Okay, so we already know Tony's Pizza, and we have a formula for them. So I'm going to write TP for Tony's Pizza, and I'm going to write that formula. And we can figure out how much it costs at Tony's Pizza for a 5-topping pizza. So let's do that. So I'm going to do 11.75 plus 0.55 times 5. Now I'm going to pull out my calculator, which you guys can't see, but I do have a calculator pulled up, and I'm going to type that expression, 11.75 plus 0.55 times 5 gives me 14.5. We're talking money here though. So at Tony's Pizza it would cost $14.50. So now we're going to figure out how much it would cost at the other pizza place, Pappy's Pizza. This is Pappy's Pizza right here, PP. Okay, so I need to come up with an equation here. So when they give you a table, think of it as them giving you sets of ordered pairs. So you only need 2. They have given us 3. So let's just use the top 2. So step 1, we've got to come up with the slope. So I'm going to come over here and do it on this side. And remember that to find the slope, you take the difference in the y's divided by the difference in the x's. And we can let number of toppings is supposed to be the x value and cost is supposed to be the y. Okay, so I'm going to do 1350 minus 1250 over 4 minus 2. So that would be 1 over 2, or 1/2. And since everything is in decimals, I'm going to write it as a decimal, 0.5. Okay, now I need to come up with my y-intercept. So I'm going to take one of those points, which I'll just use the one on the top, along with my slope, and I'll come up with that. So I have to do that over here on this side. So y equals mx plus b. So we'll do 1250 equals 0.5 times 2 plus b. And then I'm going to solve. Okay, so 0.5 times 2 is 1. Then we subtract 1 on both sides, so that'd be 1150 equals b. So Pappy's Pizza, oh, it looks like my thing is frozen. So I'm going to pause my video and then come right back. Okay, so we found the y-intercept is 11.50. So for Pappy's Pizza, let's write the equation. So Pappy's Pizza has the equation C equals, and the slope is 0.5, so 0.5, and we'll do T for toppings, plus 11.50. So for 5 toppings, we're going to do 0.5 times 5 plus 1150. And I'm going to type that into my calculator. So 0.5 times 5 plus 11.50 gives me 14. So at Pappy's Pizza it would cost $14. So now we're ready to answer the question. It wants to know which statement is true. So if you're scanning this, some of them say costs less than, Tony's is less than Pappy's, Pappy's is less than Tony's, Tony's is less than Pappy's, or Pappy's is less than Tony's. Who's charging less? So this, all of that is for Pappy's Pizza. So Pappy's is charging less. Since I know that Pappy's is charging less, I can eliminate A because it says Tony's would be less. C also starts off with Tony's is less. All right, so B and D are both talking about Pappy's Pizza being less. How much less? $14 versus $14.50. So Pappy's Pizza is 50 cents less. So this is answer choice D. Let's do another problem. Let's look at number 3, which is on the next page. It says Pete's Painting Company charges $240 for materials and $28 per hour to paint a room. Maria's Painting Company charges its customers based on the table below. How much more is the cost of materials for Pete's Painting Company than Maria's Painting Company? Okay, so let's talk about Pete. That very first sentence that says he charges $240 for materials and $28 an hour. So if I'm writing this in that y equals mx plus b form, that 28 per hour, 28 is my slope. So y equals 28x plus the 240 for the materials. So there's Pete's. All right, if I skip on down to the bottom, how much more is the cost of materials? So that cost of materials is the y-intercept. So we know that our y-intercept, or the b value for Pete, is 240, right? What about for Maria? So we've got a table here. So we're going to go through the steps that we would go through to come up with the equation for Maria. So for Maria, first I'm going to find the slope. And remember, to find the slope, you take your difference in your y values divided by the difference in your x values. So we're going to do 346 minus 294 over 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. And if I'm going to do 346 minus 294, I'm going to get 52. Oops. My screen just moved. Hold on. There we go. Hold on a second. There we go. 52. And 52 divided by 2 is going to give me 26. So my slope is 26. And now we can find our y-intercept. So to get that y-intercept, remember, I'm going to plug into y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to take one of my points. I'm going to use this point right here. So that's 294 equals 26 times 3 plus b. So 26 times 3 is going to give me 78 plus b. Then we're going to subtract 78 on each side. So let's do 294 minus 78, and I get 216. Okay, so now I've got the y-intercepts, which are the materials. How much more is the cost of materials for Pete's company than Maria's? So 240 versus 216. So we need to subtract those two. So what is 240 minus 216? $24. So we're looking at answer choice D. Okay, we'll do one more together. Looking at number 4, it says that Adams Plumbing charges $40 for a service call plus $42 per hour for any repair that needs to be completed. Brad's Plumbing charges their customers based on the table below. So I'm going to write Brad's right there above the table. How much more is the service call for Brad's Plumbing than Adams Plumbing? Well, we already know that Adams, and we don't have to do any extra stuff here, but Adams' service call is $40 because they told us. So let's figure out Brad's service call. Now that service call means just for calling them, they're going to charge you this certain amount. And so Adam's going to charge $40 just for you calling for them to have to come out there. So for Brad, though, step 1, we're going to have to find the slope. So we're going to take the difference in the y values divided by the difference in the x values. So 222 minus 90 over 4 minus 1. So when I do 222 minus 90, I get 132 over 3. And if you type in 132 divided by 3, you're going to end up with 44. Okay, so the service call is not the same as the slope. The service call is going to be the same as the y-intercept. We found the slope. Now let's go through and find the y-intercept. So I'm going to use that first point to find the y-intercept. Okay, so in place of y, I'm going to write the 90 equals, my slope is 44, times the x is 1 plus b. Well, 44 times 1 is 44. Then we're going to subtract 44 on each side. So when I do 90 minus 44, I get 46 is equal to b. Okay, so how much more is the service at Brad's than Adams? So we need to subtract. So I'm going to do 46 minus 44, which is 2. So $2 more. So it's answer choice A. Okay, now I want you to go to problem 5. I want you to look at problems 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, go all the way to number 15. So you're going to finish the remaining problems here. So we're going to do 5 through 15. So pause the video and complete those problems. Good luck. All right, now you have had an opportunity to work on the remaining problems independently. So I'm going to show you the work that I used to complete each of these problems, 5 through 15. It is your responsibility to check over your work, make the necessary corrections. You also need to try and make sense of these problems. If you have any questions, then you need to bring them to your teacher so that your teacher can help you answer the problems. So here's number 5. And then I'm going to flip to number 6. And again, you can pause the video while I'm going through these problems so that way you can get the work and make sure you understand what's going on here. So there's 6. Here's the work for number 7. Again, pause the video if you need to. 8. There's 9. Let me zoom in on 9. Okay, I'm going to slide it up so you can get 10. There's number 10. There's 11. 12. Let me move my picture. Okay, there's number 13. And then for number 14, there's 14 was carried over onto the next page. And problem 15. Move my picture up. Again, I know I went through these. All I was doing was allowing you to see the solutions to these problems. It is very important that you speak with your teacher if you are uncertain about any of the problems 5 through 15. Once you've completed this assignment, go on in and work on your independent practice. Good luck.